For exercise P2-4, this is the exercise where I'm really going to start to hone in on what parametric feature-based modeling is. Instead of doing this as one solid object, I'm actually going to make it a little bit simpler, and I'm going to break it down into 3 different pieces. So first I'm just going to start by going to New, select Metric, and I want a standard millimeter IPT. I'll create my first sketch on the front plane as I've been doing, and I'm going to use a 2-point center rectangle. What this is going to do is it's automatically going to constrain this rectangle to the center, and I know that the dimensions are 160 by 90. Once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and finish this sketch, and I'm going to extrude it a thickness of 2. Next, I'm going to left click on this face, and then I'm going to click on the little button that comes up right next. When you click on the face, you get this flyout, and I'm going to click on this button right here, which is called Create Sketch. At this point, I'm going to draw another center point rectangle that is going to be 140 by 30, and I'm going to finish this sketch. I'm going to go back to extrude, and rather than using this now, I'm going to click on this button right here to drop down the dialog box. I want this to go through all. Now when I say all, it assumes that I want to subtract, so it automatically changes it to subtract, and it changes the direction so that it actually cuts through the other side. So once that's selected and I can see in the preview that it's cutting, I'll say OK, and that puts the hole in. Again, I'm going to left click on this surface, and I'm going to left click New Sketch. Now I want to use this point right here to draw another rectangle, but this is just going to be a regular 2-point rectangle. And I know the width across this rectangle is going to be 20, and the side of it is also 20. So here we have just a regular square. That's all I need for this, so I'm going to say Finish Sketch, and I'm going to go back to Extrude. And again, I'm going to say all because I know that's going to change the direction and the Boolean operation, and I'll say OK. So now what I have is I've got a situation where I've got one of my cutouts, and I need to pattern it. The reason I didn't include this cutout with this cutout is because I want to pattern this one. So if I come up here and click on Rectangular and then select just this feature, having a little bit of a hard time selecting it from here, so I'll just come over here and select it here. My direction 1, I want to pick a line that represents the left to right direction, so I'll say this one right here. Now it's going the wrong way, so I'll click on this button to change it to go the other way. The distance between these is going to be 40, and there are 4 objects. In the preview, I can now see 1, 2, 3, 4, and this 4th one is lined up with my left edge. I also want to go direction 2 and pick a line that represents my up and down portion of the pattern, so I'll left click here, and I can see that the arrow is going the correct way. The distance between these is going to be 50, and there are 4, so I've got a pattern here that has 4 rows, or 4 columns and 2 rows, and the spacing is 40 and 50, but I can see over here in the preview that it's now going to give me the 8 cutouts that I'm looking for. I say OK, and now what I have is the completed exercise P2-4. This required me to only draw 3 rectangles and then use a pattern command rather than trying to lay out each and every single one of these individually.